Okay guys, I have a new poll straight from Japan for you guys. Like last year I showed you the poll of Japan's favorite characters ranked from least favorite to most favorite. I'm looking forward to see if they're going to like update that for the end of this year too. But right now we have another poll of what Japan thinks are their favorite stories, like their favorite arcs throughout Wuthering Waves. They have a top list of 9 because there's only like really 9 arcs in this year and a half or whatever it's been so far. This poll was held for only just about a week from the 24th of October until the 2nd of November, and then they tallied them, and these are the results. There are about 1,000 results so far, 1,000 votes that were in total for this poll. So it's not a massive amount of votes, but my impression looking from this, I think a lot of these results are pretty on the mark as well, and I can look online what the JP community is saying in response to this poll, like if they think, oh, that sounds about right, or no, that's not really on the ball. And I'll also give my opinion on what I remember seeing at the time on the JP side of things about what they were saying about the stories as well. So coming in last place is, unsurprisingly, the whole 1.0, 1.1 story arc of Huang Long. This got a grand total of 23 votes for their favorite section. I'm really not surprised by this at all. Like, even though I personally didn't really have a problem with the story itself, I think the reason why a lot of people didn't like this, especially in Japan, is because of the whole like lore, not even lore dump, but like jargon dump of things. And I know that some people in English had a hard time following on with what was being said, like all these tacit fields, wave 1 phenomena, retro rain, etc, etc. But it was even worse in Japan because it wasn't just a case of this new terminology and this new jargon being thrown at them, but it's also a case of being compounded by the fact that these words, for the most part, had very odd combinations of kanji in there as well. So it was really hard for a lot of Japanese players to follow along with what was being said, including just who was saying them as well. Like, to this day, a lot of people still don't know exactly how to read the kanji for Chishia, and so they'll just end up writing her name in katakana as Shika. Not the same Shika as in deer, by the way. That's a different thing. So I think that's one of the biggest reasons why this particular arc got so few votes, but either way, I'm not surprised. 23 votes, 9th place, Huang Long. In 8th place, this one was actually kind of surprising for me. I actually didn't think this was going to be in 8th place. It was actually the 2.0 Carnival arc. I tried to think, like, what was being said around 2.0, because I knew there was a big fanfare across all the communities, both in global, in Japan as well, specifically, and also in other communities too. But I don't remember any real significant complaints with the Carnival arc. I do remember at the time, around January, February, around that time, that there was another flare-up of the whole male-female ratio for characters thing. I remember that being talked about, but I don't remember any specific problems that were being brought up in regards to the 2.0 story. Maybe it's just a case of the whole experience of 2.0 with the flight and the region itself being so much better in people's minds, in people's memories, that they kind of forgot what the Carnival was about. Like even myself trying to think about what the Carnival story was, I remember some certain parts, like being attacked by the Dragon of Dirge and then the whole thing at the end, but the stuff in between that, it's kind of difficult to remember. So maybe it is a case of that, but I'm not sure. It is surprising, but it is what it is. And in 7th place, this one is actually from 2.6, the whole Sangui Plateau section with Augusta and Yuno. This got a grand total of 36 votes. This one particularly I am not surprised by at all. In fact, I thought this might have gotten 8th place. Even though Japan likes Augusta and they really like Yuno as characters, the whole conversation that I was seeing online in JP around the whole story was not all that positive. Like, it's kind of difficult to really sift through what Japanese opinions, actual opinions on stories and such are. It was a case of where they would say, yeah, it was fine, but I wish they would do this. And here's a hint for you guys. When Japan like says, yeah, it was fine, but the but part has significantly more weight than the yeah, it was fine part. I did see a lot of conversation online specifically about the lack of character interactions between Augusta and Yuno. And even though there were parts that made people feel moved, on the whole though, it wasn't really all that liked, and I can't really phrase it any other way. A lot of people in Japan, for the most part, just really didn't enjoy that patch or that patch story. Like, it was a case of like, it's fine, but it's not good. It's nowhere near some of the stuff that we've had in recent patches before that. So yeah, 7th place with 36 votes, the Sangui Plateau of 2.6. In 6th place, I think I actually misspoke earlier when I said about the 9th place. 9th place was only 1.0. 6th place was actually 1.1 with Mount Firmament to do with Jinshi and Changli. This one got 45 votes. And I'm actually kind of surprised about this because at the time I remember seeing a lot of attention being given to Changli. Like, Changli was so beloved. I think Changli is still to this day the most favored character in Japan for the whole like Huanglong, Mount Firmament, Black Shores. Like, every character in like pre 2.0, Changli was the standout favorite, as shown by the poll from last year. Changli was the favorite character of all Japanese players that I have seen. And even though the story was mainly around Jinshi, Changli was the standout favorite character, like by far. Again, at the time, I don't remember all too many criticisms for that particular area, Mount Firmament. Like, the game had just come out, it was like bringing out new regions just after launch. From what I remember, it was still pretty positive about the game. Like, we still had conversations about the shoddy launch and some optimization issues, but in terms of the story and the characters, I couldn't really remember all that many critical voices in JP. I'm actually kind of surprised it's like in the lower end of things, but looking at the stories that come after that polled higher than that, I'm kind of not surprised. With that being said, in 5th place, we've got the Gladiator Tournament, the whole Lupa arc thing in 2.4. This was a story I saw a lot of people give a lot of praise for in Japan. And even though Lupa herself didn't sell all that well on the banner sales, it doesn't really matter, because banner sales don't really correlate to what people think of the story. The story itself got a lot of attention because of the interesting and complex storylines and plot points being brought up. Yeah, I am not surprised by this at all. And then quickly going on to 4th place, another one that I'm not really surprised by, that got similar votes for this, with 91 votes at 4th place, was the whole Frolova arc too. From what I remember on the JP side of things, during this story arc here, the biggest conversation, the biggest thing that I saw trending in the search terms was Rover's the worst, or Rover's scum, or something along those lines. Again, talking about how Rover treated Frolova and really promoting a lot of conversation throughout the community at that time, as it did in English, in global as well. I saw an outpouring of love for Frolova's story, and even though Japan really, for the most part, didn't like her mini event game thing that they had, like, I saw a lot of people being very critical about that. This is about the story specifically, and when I think back to what people were saying about the story, a lot of people, it was just promoting a lot of conversation throughout the community, and yeah, I am not surprised by this. What I was surprised by, though, was that the 3rd and the 2nd places had the exact amount of votes, the exact same amount of votes of 209. So we got a big jump from 91 for 4th place with Frolova up to 209 for both 3rd and 2nd, tying in at 2nd place equally. In the page that I'm looking at right now, they listed Black Shores just under Avenolium. These both got equal amount of attention and equal amount of fanfare in Japan. Of course, Black Shores was the 1.3 patch and the whole introduction of the Black Shores, and specifically to do with Shorekeeper, which I thought was really odd. Again, this goes into how sales do not equate to people's enjoyment of the story, because Shorekeeper's banner did not sell well at all in Japan. I think it was one of, if not the lowest selling banner last year and also this year with reruns. Like, last year, if you don't count reruns, she was the worst selling character, and this year, even among reruns, I think she sold the worst, which is really surprising considering just how utilized and how much she's needed in all kinds of team comps. But again, in saying that, banner sales do not equate to enjoyment of the story, and the enjoyment of the story in Japan, if I remember correctly, again, was really, really good. I do remember seeing some people saying that it felt a little bit rushed, but on the whole, they really appreciated the whole moving aspect of Rover diving in to save Shorekeeper, and then culminating with them side by side playing the piano in such a beautiful sunset in this area. Like, 209 votes does not surprise me at all. And then again, the other one with 209 votes was the Avenolium, like finding out everything to do with Cartier and the battle with Fleur-de-Lis at the end. It was a pivotal moment that had everyone by the edge of their seats. I saw plenty of streamers play through that and they were like bawling their eyes out. And yes, I'm speaking specifically to do with Sarah, but not even just Sarah herself. Like a lot of other streamers were in similar states. They were crying and they really did feel so attached to Cartier and Fleur-de-Lis, even though Fleur-de-Lis had not been in the story all too much until the very end. So Avenolium getting equal tie for second place does not surprise me at all. But the story that got the most votes with 236 was the latest story to do with Rinascita, the whole finale of Rinascita. This one, I want to like just put a pinch of salt in there. I don't know if the reason why this got more votes than every other story is because that it's the most recent one, it's still fresh in people's minds or something. It may be that, it might not be that, but if this poll was held a month or so later, it might not have gotten as many votes as it did. I don't think it would be anywhere like down to like 90 votes as in 4. I think it'd be somewhere along the same lines as Black Shores and also Fleur-de-Lis arc as well. So yeah, I do think there's a bit of recency bias in that, but in saying that, that is the one that came out at number 1 with 236 votes, the finale of Rinascita. I don't know what can be said about this arc that hasn't been said already. And when it comes to the reaction in Japan, pretty similar to the reaction that was happening in Global as well. Like just a lot of fanfare, a lot of attention. People absolutely loved it. If I remember, again, this is more recent one. If I can think of any other criticisms or any particular criticisms like in specific, I think some people said that with the whole picture of all the characters at the end, it made some people laugh because of the amount of female characters, but there weren't that many people that said that. I do remember seeing a bit of attention, but not all that much. But again, on the whole, it was widely, I would say like 90% or 95% positive across the board. Oh no, there was one part that they said that the Chimera conversation about Galbraith's backstory went a bit too long and the tempo was a bit off there, but again, I think that's the same kind of criticism that a lot of people had in Global as well. So like I said before, the reaction in Japan was pretty much one-to-one the reaction in Global too. So I'm just going to go through the replies and quote retweets on here to see what the Japanese players say in response to the results of this post here. Let's just do a quick refresh. So got an English one here. The Rinascita final battle reminded me of the Avengers, so nothing really too much in critical there, but I do remember seeing some of the quote retweets in here, so let me just show you those. So this is the first one that I come across here. Chapter 1, Act 8, as in the Black Shores one, was over a year ago, yet sneaking into the amazing group of Chapter 2 is really impressive. Like, it's amazing that it, even though it was almost a year ago, if not more than a year ago, and still hits at the same level today as some of the best, most recent stories. People or players who skipped chapters 1 and started from chapter 2 absolutely have to go back and play that chapter. This one here is just talking about the music specifically, about the famous songs, nothing really to do with like the results themselves. Just yesterday I finished playing through the Black Shores arc, but it was seriously a god tier story. Up until now I didn't really get the story, again the parts before that in Huanglong, Jinzhou and also Mount Firmament, and couldn't immerse myself in it. Again, something I've heard a lot. But the Black Shores arc was pretty easy to understand. Again, I think that's another reason why a lot of people really liked that, because it wasn't as complicated. Okay, here's another one here. Convincing is not really the word being used. Nattoku is like understand, like I can understand. This is an understandable ranking. So they seem pretty on board with where each arc is. Tied for second place, that's impressive. And yeah, it really was. Let's see what this one says here. I checked the results, and seeing that the Carnival and Jinzhou, Imoshu, got second to last and such, seriously, like they're kind of upset that the Carnival and Jinzhou arcs were as low as they were. Like I said, there were a lot of people that really enjoyed those arcs, so this ranking makes sense. Again, another person is saying that, yeah, this sounds about right. The final battle with Rinascita is such a god tier story, I can't wait to read it, or I can't wait to go through it. So I'm guessing they haven't played it so far. There was a time when I thought it was possible to surpass Act 8 of Chapter 1, as in the Black Shores arc, and Act 4 of Chapter 2, the Fleur-de-Lis arc, but here we are. That's way too unobjectionable, like they agree to the results, like which story ranks where. These were all seriously really good, so they just like all stories, all the arcs, regardless of rankings. Right? Like, yeah, this makes sense. Like these rankings make sense. It's unfair how it keeps surpassing the past quests so regularly. Like Wuthering Waves always one-ups itself in terms of story. For Lover was good too, right? They're a little upset that For Lover was as low, but again, like I said, even though I saw that a lot of people really liked the For Lover story, the stories that came after that in ranking, should I say, like ahead of that, more than that, higher than that, I'm not surprised. And that's all of the quotes. The ones I didn't include in here are ones that have like English quote retweets, but that was all of the quote retweets that I could find. If I look at the comments here on the bottom, oh, go away. Here, the first one saying that every story after the Black Shores has been so good I might die. And this one here is saying, oh, this one's actually a bit critical, in fact. I'll show you guys what it's saying. Even though I genuinely liked the Ryuuku arc, I felt that the final battle arc was of the same low quality as version 1.0, so this is surprising. I feel like the management has some kind of illness where they can't be satisfied unless they make the enemy say, I'm there too, when defeating a strong enemy. Oh, they're talking about like at the end of the finales of 1.0 and also at the end of 2.0, where there's a whole thing going on and then someone of the Fraxis will just be like standing by like, oh yeah, I'm going to watch over all of this. Like they're being a bit critical about that aspect. There is a reply though, but that's what's popular. So even though I said that I didn't really see much in terms of criticism for the Ryuuku arc, this is the first time I've seen that particular criticism. I've seen others, but nothing saying that. Maybe I'm just not looking in the right place. I don't know. Although this person could just be a one-off. Whatever. So yeah, guys, this is the result. These are the rankings for Japan's favorites, from least favorite to highest favorite, most favorite stories of Wuthering Waves. What do you guys think? Do you agree? Do you disagree? Like, what would your rankings be specifically? Let me know down in the comment section below. And if you like this video, you want to see more, like I said, I do think they're going to be having a character popularity contest at the end of the year as well. If you're looking forward to that, then be sure to be subscribed because I will have that as soon as it's out. So until next time, I will see you in the next video. Peace.